Hello, my name is Danielle Mitchell, and I am a speech language pathology major. My classification is a senior, and I am currently in the post-bachelor's program. Once I enter the field of work in speech language pathology, I plan to work with children, preferably toddlers and preschoolers. So this led to me picking the topic entitled Toddlers and Preschoolers with SLI. I also chose this topic because from working in the school system, I work with children on a daily basis, and I have actually witnessed these preschoolers and young age children with specific language impairments. So I felt that researching this topic would give me great insight on what SLI is all about. Purpose of presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to be able to understand what is SLI, characteristics of SLI in preschoolers and toddlers specifically, the prevalence of SLI in children, treatment, preventative measures that can be taken, and intervention strategies for SLI in reference to parents and/or caregivers. What is SLI? SLI is an acronym for the term specific language impairments. Language impairments are known to be disorders of language that interferes with communication, adversely affecting performance, and/or functioning in the student's typical learning environment. SLI is usually found in children at an early age, but can often go unnoticed. Children are developing, but their language acquisition does not meet the same standard as children of the same chronological age. Characteristics of SLI. There are milestones that each child should meet according to their designated age. However, these milestones are key indicators for identifying if a child has a specific language impairment. At 18 to 24 months, some signs that there may be an SLI would be unable to form two-word utterances, being a late talker, and absence of a growth in vocabulary. And I got this from Read 2017, page 98. At 3 years of age, signs at this age would consist of the child being able to promote an expressive language. An example of this would be the child being able to voice feelings and emotions. So therefore, if the child is 3 years of age and they're unable to do that, then that can possibly be a sign of an SLI. At 4 years of age, according to text, a child at this age would be currently functioning at the age of a 2-year-old. So that means that if a child has an SLI, they would not be currently functioning at an actual 4-year-old age level as far as language-wise. They would actually be functioning on a 2-year-old language. They would actually be functioning at a 2-year-old level language. The age of 4 is the milestone that determines how the child's language will be developed throughout their future. Prevalence of SLI in children. One of the earliest signs that a child may have problems with language is that the first word is used late or that very many additional words are required after the first word. According to text, the prevalence rate of about 7% is known to be the commonly accepted rate. Children with SLI will not all show signs at the same age. Parents that are found to have problems with language will genetically pass this disorder to offspring. So in most cases, children that are diagnosed with SLI, either their mom or dad or someone in their immediate family has problems with language development. So when if it's the parents will pass this to their offspring, which means they are more susceptible to have problems with their language, which will eventually lead to a specific language impairment. Treatment for SLI. There are not any known cures for specific language impairment. However, invasive therapy interventions are given to help improve the effects of SLI. During the age group for toddlers, which ranges from 1 to 3, and preschoolers, which ranges from 3 to 5 years of age, these are the most prominent years of the development stage of a child's life from an intellectual standpoint. So this is when basically during this time period, the child's language is basically shaped. So they will be able to learn words, they will be able to learn different sounds and things of that nature. It is best that the identification of the child having a language development problem is noticed as soon as possible, so that the child will be further assessed in a timely fashion. If the language development delay is noticed years after being present, this can result in the child having SLI into adulthood. Intervention and strategies. Indirect intervention can be given by the parent or caregiver. For example, have a child vocalize what he or she may want to eat for supper. This will give the child the task of learning how to express thoughts as well as facilitating his or her language development. Invasive speech therapy sessions geared to help improve the child's SLI. The parent caregiver should always provide the child with encouragement to help promote a high level of confidence. Parent caregivers should recognize and actively take advantage of any language learning opportunities that occurs in a child's daily activities. According to the scholarly article entitled 10 Principles of Grammar Facilitation for Children with Specific Language Impairments, there are 10 principles that are developed to help guide children that have SLI. For example, one of the principles stated the idea that intermediate goals should be given to the child so that the child's language acquisition can be related in a manner that is easier for the child to understand. So that means that it should be given to the child in a much easier platform so that the child can easily relate to what is being taught to him or her. And I got this idea from Faye, Finstack, and Long, 2003. Creating or enhancing the child's environment to facilitate change in a child's language. For example, adding words or pictures to the child's wall and have the child to read the words and tell what the words means. Those are all positive reinforcements of helping the child with their language development. Presentation conclusion. Overall, this presentation was given to be able to educate individuals on specific language impairments in toddlers and preschoolers. The stages that were discussed are the prevalence figure as to where the child's performance should be at the coinciding age. There were also many different interventions and strategies presented so that awareness can be provided of how SLI may have effects on a child. And here I have listed all of my references that I was able to obtain all of my research from. And here I have questions and answers. First question is, if my child does not make sounds until the age of 3, what is that a sign of? That could most likely be a sign of your child having a speech language impairment. What are treatments for SLI? The best method of treatment would be speech therapy sessions consisting of interventions to help child improve his or her SLI. Does SLI only appear at the toddler or preschool age? And SLI appears within the child's early childhood years, although it is not only prominent, although it's more prominent in the early childhood years of a child's life, but it can be found later in maybe an adulthood or adolescent age of an individual. So it's not solely committed to just early childhood years. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you for tuning in.